For more than 8 decades, many great Commonwealth cities, nations, and territories have hosted the Games in order to build peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable communities, inspired by the actions and achievements of our Commonwealth athletes and underpinned by our values of humanity, equality, and destiny. Our friends from Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, and South Africa are now primed to make the most of that responsibility and opportunity. And it gives me very, very great pleasure to welcome the South African city of Durban as proud hosts of the 22nd Commonwealth Games. And as a movement, we stand together to welcome and support the very first Commonwealth Games on African soil. Congratulations. May I now, ladies and gentlemen, invite Mr. Gideon Sam, Mr. Mark Alexander, Councillor James Zumalo to come to the stage and join me in the signing of the host city contract.
All right, well, there you have it. This is the big announcement that we've all been waiting for. Durban has officially been announced as the very first African city to be hosting the Commonwealth Games. This will be happening in 2022. You can see that the agreement is now officially being signed. I'm actually going to take a liberty here and walk across because we've got the minister sitting there. And I can't leave him sitting alone when something so huge is happening. Minister, welcome to Morning Live.
Yes, thank you for having us. Where's the champagne?
I know, we should be having champagne. How are you feeling? I mean, this is huge. How are you feeling?
No, I'm feeling great, and I think it's good for sports.
Yeah.
It's good for humanity. It's good for Africa. It's good for, for South Africa and the city of Durban.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. South Africa certainly once again is a first. We're leading the way. I mean, first it was the World Cup, the first on African soil, whether it be, the Soccer World Cup, Rugby World Cups. Now it's the Commonwealth Games. We seem to lead by example, don't we?
Yes, we are blessed, to be positioned as a nation to have this possibility of hosting these mega events. Many other nations in the world would love to be in our position. And I think it all comes with the territory, Madiba magic, our own history among nations of the world, which is how we arrived at the miracle. And everybody look towards us. It is no accident that these Commonwealth Games would have been approved to come to Africa continent, and in particular in South Africa. And we are blessed and we are proud of being Africans today, because we know that we will host a very, very successful Commonwealth Games.
Yeah. I mean, as you know as well as I know, there are always skeptics out there. There are people that are saying, why should we be hosting this? Once again, we saw this skepticism rearing its ugly head before the World Cup, and then it turned out to be the best event that we've ever hosted. But what do you say to the skeptics? Because there are a lot. I mean, I'm reading comments from people saying, why are we doing this? Why should we even put the money towards something like this?
Well, everything that is done for sports, you'll always have skeptics, and they will characterize it as useless. It's a benefit for sport. It's a benefit for South Africa. The overarching benefit is that economically, South Africa will benefit in terms of, a lot of people will be coming here, spend their money here, but also being exposed to, the best destination in the world, which is Durban and South Africa. But over and above that is to increase our potential and our capabilities as a sporting nation by way of plowing back to sport development, which is what Commonwealth is about.
Yeah.
And this should be a biggest beneficiary for our athletes and so on. Well, I don't believe that everything that is done in a mega approach, it is basically useless or actually counterproductive for a nation. And I think South Africa is the biggest beneficiary, and many other nations would love to be in our position. So we are really blessed, and we are happy as a sports fraternity, and I hope our people also will see the benefit in the long term.
We heard the mayor of Durban, James Nxumalo, talking, and some of the comments that he said, and he really did emphasize that this hosting the games here in South Africa and in Durban is going to firstly empower most people, but particularly the youth. And I see that the focus for the Commonwealth Games really is empowering the youth and giving them that stage and opportunity. And that has always been a passion of yours. Yes,
you know, because of the competing, priorities within government, we never have an opportunity to have such a focus in terms of budget and development that will have. I mean, like, for instance, hosting the Commonwealth Games and so on. So, indeed, it is we are the biggest beneficiary. And we'll be able to nurture and expose and showcase, the next Chartered laws that will come after 2022. And I think the fact that we have the Commonwealth Games in South Africa means a lot, for us, because at the end of the day, we massify our developmental approach, and our athletic village in terms of talent will benefit most out of this. So we are ecstatic, and very excited about hosting an event of this magnitude.
Well, as soon as the announcement was made, everybody broke into singing Shoshaloza there in Auckland, in New Zealand. Everybody's so excited, as you can imagine. I'm going to go out and I suppose I'm preempting something here. Is this the start of South Africa hosting for the Olympics again?
We have to host Olympics at some point, but we're gauging our options. We don't want to be like Greece. After hosting an event of that magnitude, the country goes bankrupt. We're weighing our options, and I think come, 2030 or beyond, we should be in a position to have galvanized our strength to host because largely the Olympics will be driven with public funds, and the state of the economy is important in how we position ourselves. But South Africa is equally ready, and the Commonwealth Games is the step in the right direction in relation to the possibility of hosting the Olympic Games in the future.
Let's have a look at the immediate steps now that are going to be taken. I mean, what is going to be happening in Durban? And we saw so much change taking place in the whole of South Africa and the host cities when the World Cup came about. Are we going to be seeing more stadiums being built in the city of Durban? How are things going to be changing then?
No, Durban is ready because you know how Durban Stadium was actually built. It was built with a view of the Olympics in mind. So in this particular instance, we're talking upgrades. We're not talking of new facilities, but we're talking legacy projects in and around Durban, which will be built, for training purposes, but legacy projects that will enable us to have those facilities that will be utilized by our athletes for state-of-the-art training of athletes and so on. So that's how Durban was built, the Durban Stadium. So unlike other stadiums that are underutilized and you didn't have a vision of this kind, where you have to start everything from afresh. And the resources that we're going to spend are aligned already to our developmental trajectory. For instance, the athlete village, it is already in the budget in terms of human settlement for Conubia in Durban. That's where we'll get the bulk of money to basically develop that village. Those areas will then be deferred and be given to communities as areas of human settlement, just like Alexander, All Africa Games.
Yeah.
So it's not like we really cut down in many ways in terms of all frivolous, fatty things that we would have spent on under normal circumstances. But we're focused on aligning on what we have. We're spending on what we have and the little what we have and upgrading.
Upgrading what is already existing.
Yes, what is already existing.
Minister, if you've got the time, we'd love you to stay on a little bit. We just have to take a break, do the news, and then we can continue chatting a little bit. We've got the Minister of Sport here in studio with us, Fikile Mbalula. If you missed it, the announcement has been made, and Durban is officially named as the host of the 2022 Commonwealth Games. Very exciting time. Durban has exploded with excitement, as you can imagine. Well done, Durbs. Well done, South Africa. Let's take a break.